All right, so we're doing a podcast. Rob, what episode are we on today, Rob?
578.
578 with a beautiful audience at 5990 Live. Make some noise, everybody. All right. So we decided to do it today. It's a grand opening at the lounge. Those of you guys that are members, afterwards we're going to go have some cigars, have some conversations. Probably the best part of the night is when there's no cameras, especially in the lounge. You cannot have a phone on, but it's where the conversations get deeper. But I'm excited about that. However, we haven't done a live. Rob, when's the last time we did a live, Rob? Has it been a few months, Rob? I think it's been 4 or 5 months since we did a live.
Who was the last
The
one?
election.
It was the election.
Oh, wow. It was election night. We
Was
haven't
it?
been in here since.
No, we have election
Nope.
night. We were not here. We were at 59 night. We were at 1200.
The debates.
Dear.
When we did the debate watch
Let me
party.
tell you how I know we haven't done one in a while, because we had to put the sprinklers here. We had to readjust the coding for this to become a cigar lounge, bar, liquor license. That took us, we haven't done this for 6 months. So it's great to be back. It's great to be here with you guys. All right. Stories. We got a lot of stories. Let's go through them. Did you guys hear about Trump's tax hikes, what the new tax proposal is? Who's following that story a little closely? Yes? The first 3 rows are a little bit concerned about it, folks. These are the rich people that are worried about the types of taxes they're going to pay. We're going to talk about that. Trump said he's sick and tired of Fed Chair Powell. Termination cannot come fast enough. I don't know if that's a threat or he's upset, but we'll talk about that as well. California sues to block Trump's illegal tariffs. There is a name in there. It's a guy named Gavin Newsom who sues, who happens to be one of Roger Stone's favorite people, by the way. I know Roger's a big fan of Gavin Newsom, very good friends. Then we have Xi fights Trump's tariffs with global charm offensive. We got to talk about that. China lashes out, says peasants in the United States. They called us peasants. Literally, one of their representatives said peasants in the United States. What a thing to call if you want to negotiate. Let me read it to you one more time. Tell me how you feel. Make some noise if it makes you feel uplifting, if you want to continue negotiations, or you want to be tough with them. Let me read it to you, then react accordingly. Ready? China lashes out, says peasants in the United States.
Yeah.
All right, a couple guys are not happy. Will suffer from trade war. Then Harvard, Trump's going after Harvard now, says Trump's administration asking IRS to revoke Harvard's tax exempt status. Is Harvard's $53 billion endowment big enough to offset federal funding cuts? We'll talk about that. Letitia James has an interesting week. We'll say what she's going through. Possible prosecution over allegations for mortgage fraud. L.A. spends, watch this number here, a little bit weird. L.A. spends less on firefighters than homeless who start a third of fires. A third of fires in L.A. start by homeless people, yet they don't want to give the firefighters and take care of them. Kind of weird. Mother of murdered Maryland women, Rachel Morin, joins White House briefing. If you've not seen this, very tough to watch. If you're in Florida, you know what happened here at Florida State. We're going to talk about that as well with the shooting. Very unfortunate, disturbing. If you watch the video, the story keeps getting deeper and deeper. 2 are unfortunately confirmed, I believe, dead, and 6 are hospitalized right now as we're speaking. Originally, they just said 6 are hospitalized, but 2 of them have been killed, and we'll discuss that story. And then next one here is the Florida story that was shared with me on Connect. It's a story that I think it's important for us Floridians to talk about, but I think this also applies to some other states. Governor Ron DeSantis, you got to love this about the guy. Governor Ron DeSantis says these highway patrol folks in the state of Florida are not getting paid what we should give them a 25% raise, 20 to 25% raise. Congress says no in the state of Florida. They're going back and forth. There's a stat you have to know about where Florida ranks in what they pay for their highway patrol. I don't know if you know the ranking or not. It's embarrassing what it is, and maybe we can make some noise and get some people's attention with that. How many of you guys use Zoom? Anybody use a Zoom? Did anybody have any issues with Zoom yesterday? 70,000 people reported an outage. We went through it ourselves. And then we have DHS deported MS-13 member Kilmar Abrego-Garcia, arrested with rolls of cash and drugs. And apparently we learned about his nickname, what MS-13 calls him. There's a nickname for it, right?
Yeah.
Is it Chile?
Chile.
Chile is his nickname.
Yeah.
MS-13 nickname is Chile. And apparently he's a manager. He's gotten a couple promotions.
He's a family man.
He's a family
from Maryland.
That's right.
He's a Maryland
family
man.
for sure. All right, Vinny. You're about to,
Unbelievable.
it's going to be bad, but you can't mess around with stuff like that. All right, so Elon Musk, apparently, there's a story of the president saying, what the F is Elon doing here? Trump personally blocked Musk's Pentagon briefing on China. Is there truth in this? Who knows? The tactics Elon Musk used to manage his legion of babies and their mothers. Are you guys, this was Adam's top story. Adam wants to talk about this. And look, when Adam says he wants to talk about the story when it's 30 minutes late, we say, sure, we'll give you one story. This is the one he got. Did you guys catch that one?
Below the radar?
This is what it is. Okay.
You can take it.
Biden gave an incredible motivational speech this week. I mean, Tony Robbins was upset because he outshined him, but it was just so impressive when you see stuff like talent. By the way, that's a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent when somebody can motivate as well as Joe Biden does. Do you remember when he would do his, when he was on the road and he was campaigning, hundreds of thousands of people would show up to listen to Biden speak? I mean, that's unbelievable, right?
Changed my life.
Just incredible. You know what I love? Gullible people that think I'm serious right now. There's hundreds
There's
of
somebody
thousands of
out
people
there.
showed up. How many guys saw the Blue Origin flight? Be honest. Did that not make you think you can do the impossible? He said, you know what? I think I can do something big with my life one day,
Yeah.
right? Vinny, I saw
Yeah.
you were inspired.
Yeah.
So Gail King is extremely disappointed with many of us by the backlash of Blue Origin flight accuses critics of sexism. How dare you not believe they went through this devastating 11-minute flight? Give them some credit, Vinny.
I mean, who cares
my
who
God.
cares that men built the damn thing? They were on it.
I love New York Post's title says, Astro, not. Canada's first election debate opens with sparring over Trump, and Canada's Gen Z voters turn to conservative Poilievre in race against Carney. I don't know if you heard what Tucker said about Poilievre, but we'll definitely play that clip. And then some bad news for people in Hamas. A depleted Hamas is so low on cash right now that it can't pay its fighters. So it's a pretty rough situation they're in there. I don't know who writes this. Let me read the story to you one more time. Wall Street Journal. A depleted Hamas is so low on cash that they can't pay its fighters. What the hell does that mean? We'll talk about it. And then we got a couple other stories here that we'll go through. Having said that, for those of you that are watching, Menect, if you haven't yet joined Menect Circle, everything we talk about here on the back end, behind the scenes, the notes, what we're talking about right now, the notes that I have is in Menect Circle, unlimited messaging, unlimited videos. Behind the scenes right now when we're back there, we posted a video of what was going on. You kind of have to see it to be a part of it. If you're not yet part of PBD Podcast Menect Circle, download the app, join it. Throughout the day, everybody is talking with each other. And it's a bunch of PBD podcasters. They're talking to each other. Go download the app. A lot of exciting news is coming up with Menect here soon. But if you watch the PBD podcast, download the app and join the PBD Podcast Circle. Okay, what story do we want to start off with? If we were to pick a story, which one do we want to go with? Since we got business people here, can we talk taxes? Is that okay with you? Let's talk some taxes. Okay, so millionaire tax hike gains steam as Trump signals openness. What does this really mean? Let's go through it. Republicans led by President Trump are exploring a new 40% tax bracket for individuals earning $1 million or more annually, with a White House official stating Trump is open to the idea but prefers a threshold far greater than $1 million. Deputy Treasury Secretary Michael Faulkner said, "We are investigating and having discussions with Congress about a variety of potential offsets," while Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent noted, "Everything's on the table to manage the taxable costs. The proposed millionaire tax rate aims to offset the cost of expanding the state and local tax deductions, potentially raising the cap from $10,000 to $25,000, benefiting high earners in states like New York and Jersey." Bessent reported very good progress on tax talks, predicting performance for the 2017 tax cuts and jobs by 4th of July. Tom, what are your thoughts on this story? Tell us.
Well, I think, like we've been talking about tariffs, and I said, I believe tariffs were tactics, not long-term taxes. Well, it doesn't say Donald has an idea. It says that Donald Trump, 47, says, I'm open to discussions. I'm open to the idea. Because what he's got to do, they got to pay for something. The SALT deduction, it's where people that are in California and New York get to deduct their state taxes off their federal. And people have often said, well, you choose to live in New York and California, you got to pay that because you get a discount on that. You know, people in Florida, That's not fair. And so what they're talking about doing, okay, everybody's upset. We're going to raise it from 10,000, which they lowered it to you could deduct up to 25,000 of your California.
Who does that benefit?
Yeah, benefits New York and California. But now then the Trump people will say, well, Mr. President, if you give that back, we need tax coming in because we're trying to balance the federal budget ultimately. And so they're saying, well, what if we do a 40% bracket way up? It's already right now, 37, 39, 39 and a half. Let's move it to 40% so that we can get some back. So they're trying to balance it. I think this is a head fake, and I think he's trying to get Congress to come to the table and talk by saying, well, I'm open to talk about taxes coming up. That's like saying free beer in a fraternity house to Democrats, right? They're all going to run into that meeting and say, oh, my goodness, he's willing to do this. And I think he's trying to open it up with Scott Bessent, Secretary Bessent, to start the dialogue and start the conversation.
Adam.
So Trump wants to raise taxes on the rich?
Proposing
Is that what I'm
the
hearing?
top line being 40%.
Like if you told me that AOC was proposing this, I'd be like, yeah, obviously tax the rich, tax the bitch. But now Trump is proposing taxing the rich even more. Remember the argument we had, conversation we had with Sam Cedar? He wants to tax 90%. That's not the way this works, Sam Cedar. So just backing up a second. Obviously, everybody knows I'm the biggest MAGA person here. Like, it's without a doubt. Like, I'm the biggest Trump guy here. We all know that, excuse me. Is anybody richer? Is anybody richer since Trump took office? I'm not. I'm heavily invested in the market. I'm heavily invested in crypto. Maybe Tomo, because he's selling who knows what. But I think the optics of Trump taxing millionaires and even billionaires is not a good look for him. Who's lost the most money in the last literally 30 days? I would say the biggest, wealthiest people in America. Like, the billionaires are not happy about this. I wonder what type of conversations Elon, the richest man in the world, doing the whole Doge thing, impregnating half the country. I'm wondering what he's doing behind closed doors when he literally lost $50 billion in the last month. So, Trump.
But what are you saying? Like, you went on this rant?
What's my
point?
point?
Are you going to make a point to us? Like,
listen, Pat,
let us know.
it
Are
wouldn't
you just
be
this
the PBD
therapy for
podcast.
you?
It wouldn't be the PBD podcast if I had a point. However, it's
My
great to
boy.
see all
Not
these beautiful people.
That was
here.
pretty good, actually.
That's true.
Pat, guys,
I don't know why he would want to raise taxes.
So, but did you
on
hear
the
what
rich.
Tom said? But did you hear what Tom said?
Yeah, but I kind of fell asleep.
But let me tell you what Tom said.
I love you, Tom. I'm kidding.
Knock it off, you little.
God.
My goal is to get
But let
Tom
me tell you-
fired
let me
up
tell you what
yelling at
Tom
me
said.
today.
Here's what
Yeah,
Tom
go
said.
ahead. Salt
Tom
tax.
said, how many guys think it's a head fake? How many think he's doing this to get the other side to come and talk to him? How many guys think he would actually entertain taking the top to 40% plus? Who thinks he would do it? Okay, so a couple things that we have to be thinking about that's very different. Remember the quote that says what? I would like it to be a lot higher. He says, threshold far greater than $1 million. Okay, what if it's 2 million? What if it's 4 million? So let's just say he makes it 2 million. You're making 10 million. On that 8 million you make between 2 and 8, you pay 40%. 3.2 million goes to the government. You keep 4.8 on that additional 8 million. Should the government take 40% of that additional 8 million? I don't know about that. Do I trust the government to do more with that money than us? I don't know. Now, he's doing this for a couple different things. How many guys here run a business? Who runs a business here? Raise your hand if you run a business. What's corporate tax rates right now? What are we paying right now? What's that? 0 for you?
I want your
what
account.
business? Yeah, who's your accountant?
That's a very small
0.
business you
All
run.
right.
No, it's called you run a small business. But watch this here. So right now they want to lower the corporate tax rate from 21 points to 15 points, which allows you to have that additional 6% to do what? If you do $50 million a year, say you have $20 million on profit, that's 6% additional. I can hire a bunch of other people. That's a good thing that they're doing. And they're doing this in a way to use some of that as tax incentive, because the one big promise that he made was what? No taxes on what? Who remembers that big
Tips.
campaign? No taxes on tips. How many guys think he needs to keep that promise? Who thinks he needs to keep that promise? Who thinks he will keep that promise? I think he will keep that promise. I think, Tom, a part of me thinks, you're in the right where he's trying to get the other side to come and want to meet with them. But what ends up happening there, I don't know. I do know if they do touch increasing tax rates on business owners, they're not going to have a lot of happy people there, if that were to take place. Vinny, were you going to say something?
No. I'll say something after Tom says.
Timmy,
Yeah, because
Vinny, weigh in on this.
Well,
As
no,
a
I was just
CPA, financial
I'm
advisor,
just
come on.
curious. I get the tactic with tariffs, and we talked. Who do we talk to? Eric Bowling about how he didn't trust Lutnick, and who's the other guy's Michael Faulkner. Like who's in his ear? Like, is this all Trump by himself, or is these the people that are next to him, the Lutnick and the Faulkner, saying these are the tactics that you should do, or is this all Trump's?
I am convinced this is Trump's model. Okay. Trump sits in a room and he says something like this. He says, guys, let's just say we're running a real estate office and we're in New York. He'll say, I'm thinking about moving half of you guys to Miami to take over the Miami market. And he lets, what's that noise, by the way? Like speaking going on. He says, hey, I'm going to test you guys how to go to the Miami market. And then he sits in the office and watches everybody react in a way. And they say, dude, I'm not going to Miami market. By the afternoon, 6 hours later, 3 people come in, the ones that have guts, and they say, I think that's a terrible idea. We're about to lose half the company. Okay, then we're not doing it.
Got you.
Or guess what? Hey, you know what? Shit, as crazy an idea was, 5 people already booking their flights. Wait. I wasn't serious.
Yeah.
So I think he is kind of doing this and watches the market, what they say on X, what they say with different stories, and then he'll come back and say, great story or not a great story, or some of the people that he wants to call him to start negotiating. I don't know if that strategy is working with China right now, but I think it may work with this when it comes down to taxes. Because what did Reagan say? To Democrats, every day is April 15th. To Republicans, every day is what? 4th of July, right? One is freedom, one is taxes. So this may kind of get the Democrats to want to come and talk to him.
And this has to be done by the 4th of July. Otherwise, the original Trump tax cuts expire.
That's right. So let me give you some love letter here from China, Tom, and I want to get your reaction on this one here. China lashes out, says peasants in the United States will suffer from the trade war. Rob, I think you got a clip on this. If you want to prepare this here, is this the one? Yes. Go ahead, Rob. Play this clip.
美国一而再、再而三对香港进行遏制打压，换来的只能是其在香港的代理人的加速灭亡，最终必将反噬其自身，让美国那些乡巴佬们在中华民族5000年文明面前去哀鸣吧。
I'm not eating Chinese food for 6 months. That's my boy. He called me a peasant. I'm not going to take a chopstick.
Can you play the last 5 seconds one more time? Just play the last 5
those are
seconds
fighting words,
if you
Pat.
can. Watch this. Go ahead.
美国那些乡巴佬们在中华民族5000年文明面前去哀鸣吧。
That's what bro. That's fighting words.
Let me read this to you. Okay, so here we go. Jia Baolong, great name, director of Chinese, Hong Kong, and Macau Affairs Office, criticized U.S. tariffs as extremely shameless, stating, let those peasants in the United States wail in front of 5,000 years of Chinese civilization, which is what we just watched, in response to J.D. Vance's claim that the U.S. borrows from Chinese peasants to buy their goods. Jia addressed the National Security Education Day, called the U.S. the biggest sinister manipulator, undermining human rights, freedom, the rule of law, prosperity, and stability in Hong Kong, and a bully. He warned, the U.S. isn't after our tariffs, but our very survival. The Chinese people do not cause trouble, nor are they afraid of trouble. Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right way to deal with China. Alleging U.S. suppression of Hong Kong will eventually backfire on itself. Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Lin Jian previously criticized Vance, saying, to hear words that lack knowledge and respect like those uttered by Vice President is both surprising and kind of lamentable. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, here's what China is doing. Our VP spoke, so Xi is never going to talk to our VP. Xi sends this guy out. Xi Baolong, director of China's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office. What? It's like the director of China's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office. Hardly the vice president of China. So they're sending out a lower level guy to go make a comment because China is very symbolic. They're very symbolic with what they say. And so they're like, okay, your number 2 guy wants to talk a little trash, then we're going to talk a little trash. Behind the scenes, they have currency problems. Behind the scenes, they're still tearing down apartment buildings that they overbuilt. Behind the scenes, they are still about to have to deal with changing the demand from their largest customer in the known galaxy, us. And so it doesn't mean that this is easy, and it doesn't mean that they're not a force to be reckoned with. But this guy, he's just out talking trash because J.D. Vance said peasants, so this guy's going to say peasants.
But let me tell you what's going on here, which is the one part that we have to be careful with because they know what they have that we're having a hard time with. Remember when we were talking yesterday, the fact that Trump wanted Greenland, why? Because the beach is beautiful? Because we're all going to be going tanning there?
No.
Or because they have minerals? Trump wanted who else? Ukraine to come to the table, and Putin kind of hurt the speed because Putin's not working that quickly on a negotiation. And why did he want a negotiation deal with Ukraine? Because they offer what? Minerals that we need. Two of them were the ones to get the minerals, right? So watch this here. Trump's tariffs gamble put to test as China chokes off critical mineral supplies. Chokes off. So we need it. Nope, you're not going to get it. Rob, is that the clip? Okay, play this clip, Rob. This is very interesting to see what's going on because the longer it takes, guys, can you if you're going to talk, guys, over there on the left, if you can, you guys can go to the cigar lounge. We can hear you. If China uses this as a leverage, Putin, Russia, Ukraine, Greenland doesn't happen, a lot of business owners are going to be calling Trump saying, hey, what are we going to do about this? Rob, go on and play the clip.
In Vietnam, they brought the pomp and circumstance to welcome Xi Jinping, and two communist leaders walked the red carpet so Beijing could portray itself as a benevolent source of regional stability.
China will insist on joining hands rather than throwing punches, tearing down walls instead of building barriers, connecting instead of decoupling.
Xi's Southeast Asia tour was pre-planned, but he's using it to confront the U.S. for what Beijing calls an irresponsible trade war and recent sanctions on Hong Kong, China's top official there said today.
The repeated attempts of the U.S. to contain and suppress.
Well, let me read this to you. China halted exports of rare minerals critical for weapons, electric vehicles, and electronics in retaliation to Trump's 145% tariff. So let me give you an idea what we're going through. We have SLS next week at Mar-a-Lago. We have an event that's coming up next week at Mar-a-Lago. We purchased $1 million worth of merch that's coming in, and we have it coming in from all over the place, but one of the shipments coming from there. It's at the port. It's waiting there saying, hey, if you want it, you're going to have to pay another $250,000 in tariffs. Not me. This is the fee. So a lot of people are currently experiencing this small little pain. How many guys are experiencing it yourself in your business? Can you raise your hand if you've had anything happening with tariffs in the last 2 weeks? Raise your hand if you can. Okay, fantastic. Watch this. It says in rare minerals for weapons, electric vehicles, electronics in retaliation to Trump's 145% tariffs impacting U.S. manufacturing and defense supply chains. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hessett said rare earths are part of lots of the economy. The rare earth limits are being studied very carefully and they're concerning, and we're thinking about all the options right now. China producing 60% and processing 90% of global critical minerals imposed export controls on 7 rare earth minerals, stopping magnet shipments on April 4th. The ban spares finished products, potentially undermining Trump's tariffs while U.S. industries face production delays. Josh Ballard, CEO of U.S. Rare Earth, predicted, I'm betting it affects a lot of the auto manufacturers fairly quickly. Anybody who's doing their assembly manufacturing here, there will be a knockdown effect. Tom, thoughts on this?
Remember, I think we all remember, what did Zelensky and Trump supposedly come to a verbal agreement before the famous fight in the Oval Office? It was a ceasefire and minerals deal with Ukraine. And then they came in there and, Zelensky made a couple snide comments back with the media, and then he and Vance went at it. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things where you have to remember, our president is showing leadership here. He was trying to get out in front of this. He knew China's going to play this card. And he's trying to get out in front of it and saying, hey, we're giving all this money to Ukraine. They've got rare earth minerals. It's like they say, PayPal now accepts Bitcoin. United States now accepts rare earth minerals. Pay us in that, right? Pay us back in that. And then Greenland, he's talking about, look, you're not thrilled with the Dutch, perfectly thrilled with the Dutch. And China's been trying to get what? Mineral drilling rights in Greenland. And by the way, Greenland only has 54,000 people, which is basically a sold out, baseball game at larger stadiums. That's it. And so Trump has been trying to get out in front of these things because he knows the chess game he's going to play. And I think people need to, hey, it's in a pinch right now and he's still got to negotiate it. But this is playing out in front of our very eyes.
Let me ask you,
finding out that he was right and he was in front.
Does this hurt Elon, though? Does this hurt Elon?
Does this? I think so.
Okay. So how long can he go with this pain? What do you think? Because to me, we don't know the answer. It's not like you're talking to the guy every day. Can you text him, find out how long he can go? What I'm saying is purely speculate. How long can he go? Can he go a month? Can he go 2 months? Can he go 3 months? Can he go 6 months? There is a time. How long can he go? Because he's also got great relationship with China. Elon does a lot of business with those guys on the other end. So if this is affecting, so he's kind of in the middle where I got my business dealings I'm doing and we need these minerals. Where do we go get them from? Ukraine's not moving fast enough. They flipped. There are so many moving parts. The toughest thing about negotiation is when you're in the middle of a deal and like we were going through this at the tail end of selling our business, there was a handful of things moving at the same time. And it was not fun. And at any point, the deal was about to fall through. At any point. Any point for the last, would you say 8 weeks?
Yes.
The level of anxiety and angst. By the way, when the money hit the account and we closed, we were in a room, and when the announcement was made, you remember Moral's reaction?
Yeah.
You remember your reaction?
Yeah.
You remember the entire room, what it was like?
Oof.
It was as if weight was lifted. Now, that's a small little business compared to a government as big as we are. They have 20 things going on right now that one doesn't work out affects this one. Panama Canal, China, CK, Hutchinson, minerals, deals. We need these chips. NVIDIA prices are going up. So he's kind of in the middle trying to negotiate all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end up. I do know if you voted for this and we're pushing it and we're challenging them, do I think China is going to be willing to, go through more pain than us? Do I think China can be a bigger asshole and care about their people? Like, who do you think cares more about voters, Americans or Chinese?
Not even close.
They don't. Do they even vote?
What politician cares more about voters?
You know what I'm saying? Do they vote in China? They don't.
That's
they
the
don't.
joke. The joke part is what?
Yeah.
Chinese people look at their voters as what? Listen, you have nothing to say. Relax.
Yeah.
This is
We're in
China. You're going to
charge.
do whatever we tell you to do. Right. In U.S., you got midterms around the corner. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on here. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually in favor of what Trump is doing with China. I like the concept. I like the idea. I like the mission. I don't like the game plan. He could have gone about this so much clearer and better and prepared everybody. So I'll make an analogy. Born and raised in Miami, you've experienced hurricane season now for a few years now. A hurricane just doesn't pop up in Miami. You're like, it's hurricane season, brace for impact. It's going to happen in the next 6 months. And then when a hurricane happens, you have like a week or two to prepare off the coast of Africa. You're like, all right, cool. We got this. Get the shutters, get the wife, get the kids, get everything out of there. Trump showed up like a freaking tornado. Boom, tariffs. Everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? And business owners had no time to react. 30 days. So markets can move pretty quickly to respond.
Yeah.
But businesses are going to take 60, 90, 120 days to even realize what the hell is going on here. So in my opinion, I voted for Trump. I support him taking on what he's doing with China. The concept is a little reckless in my opinion. It's almost like, if I could give one more analogy, we had freaking the Democrats drunk at the wheel, DUI, drunk on power and big spending. They're making our boys, girls, they're chopping things off. Everyone's gay, everyone's going big spending. We're like, dude, we need a freaking safe driver. What's it called when you
What? DD, designated driver.
Designated driver. Clearly, I need one with my Ubers. Designated driver. Trump's like, listen, I got this. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't even have tattoos. He shows up. He puts on Dale Earnhardt hat. He's flicking off everybody. He's just speeding down the race. Reckless driving. You're like, bro, You were just supposed to be chill. You're just going a little too fast right now. Pump the brakes. Let's sing this.
I say
back
no.
to neutral.
No, I say he puts it in fifth gear. He keeps doing exactly what the hell he's doing. This is what we voted for. He's the only. He's the.
Thank you.
He's 3
Thank
months
you.
in, and everybody's acting on the left like it's the end of the world. Remember, World War III, North Korea, Russia. It's all BS. I said this. Everybody needs to calm the hell down. Let's not forget who China is, guys. They are our enemy. I hate hearing the word adversary. That's the same watered down for the enemy. The amount of crap that they do to us as a nation. And let's not forget, COVID, we still to this day, even the CIA, Radcliffe has to say, it's most likely it came from that's how powerful these people are, that we still can't say the words, it came from China, it came from Wuhan, at a lab that we started with freaking Fauci, who got a preemptive pardon. I think, Pat, stay the course. They are our enemy, and you mentioned the chess game. Who's gonna break first? Who's gonna get the checkmate? I think he has to stay. Yes, we're gonna suffer, but at the end of the day, they are our enemy. You hear that freaking Powell, Zhao, I don't know what the hell his name was, talking shit and calling us peasants. Regardless of the situation, that's what they think of us. It's gonna be a fight. And me as an American, think, Pat, I don't have a company where I'm losing that money and all that stuff. But what other tactic has worked throughout the years? Nothing. And they're gonna win. Their GDP is gonna pass us in 10 years.
Let me tell you, no, I don't think anybody is disagreeing with that idea. Everybody wants to see this happen. But there's also an element of, are these executives, his executives that he's known for 10 years? Is his executive team people that he's worked with for 10 years?
No. These are
How long has he had?
Oh, in the office.
Months, weeks,
Not
months,
even,
years.
yeah.
So guess what happens when you have that? So if you run with a group of people that you've been running for 10 years, guess what you know?
Everything.
No one's talking to each other. It's just signals.
Yeah.
You got it? Boom. Good.
Yep.
So part of it is also here where, I don't know. I trust what the vision is. But on the back end, who's dropping the ball on the Ukraine negotiation deal? Who's dropping the ball on the Panama stuff? This is a very good plan if it's executed, but the leadership team's only been working together for 2 or 3 months. You can say all you want. You put a brand spanking new company together with 10 C-suite executives from 10 different companies, guys, make it work. It takes a minute. So I'm a little bit watching to see who I can rely on, because this is what I'm thinking if I'm the president. I'm sitting, I'm sizing everybody up. I'm like, okay, is that guy really going to get the job done that I need to get done right now, or is he trying to run for office for 2028? Is that guy really going to do whatever we need right now to get the job done, or is he trying to fight for another job? Is that guy really doing this? Or that's what I'm thinking. Why? I haven't worked with you for a long time. I don't need to ask that about Tom. Tom and I have been in business together we've known each other for almost 20 years. We've been in business together for a while. But I don't know this camp. So I don't know if this camp is executing this chaotic plan accordingly at the level of urgency you need. I don't know.
You make a good point, because it's technically he's in again. This is a startup. If you think about it, everybody's brand new.
Very new executive team.
Yep.
It's a very new executive team, and you don't know everyone's motives. You don't yet know everyone's motives. This is a very heavy-duty negotiation going on all at the same time. Some of it needs to close.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have 20 pending deals that are open, you come to your executives and you're like, hey, you had 4 of them. When are you closing this thing? You said this is going to get done. Why is this taking 3 weeks longer? Your deadline was March 1st. Mm-hmm. What the hell are we doing? Let's go. Hey, you have 4 projects. All 4 have been completed. Guys, why is this guy getting everything done? You're not done yet. You slowing your things down is hurting the other big things that we're working on. I can't go do this if you haven't finished up this project. What the hell are we waiting for? Do we need to find somebody else to do this over you? I think that's maybe what's going on, because if it's not matching publicly, you have to show what? That you're united. And then think about it. A lot of the guys that you have on your team are also business owners. So guess what business owners are looking at? Some of the policies that we're coming up with is doing what?
Hurting them.
It's hurting the business. So they're kind of like, are they policies first or their business first?
Right.
Are they America first? Are they their business, their own net worth? What? This is very, very complex. We can sit here and talk about a podcast and a YouTube and, hey, let me tell you, they're running the biggest corporation in the world with 10 brand new executives who have never worked together before. Go ahead, run this biggest corporation. It's challenging. So I don't know what's going to be happening, but a part of me is kind of anticipating some deals closing up. close the loop on a couple of these deals. We're being told, I'm pretty optimistic the BlackRock deal is going to get done with Panama Canal. Stop saying that. Close the damn deal. I'm pretty deal the Ukraine-Putin thing's going to get done. Freaking fly over to Russia already. Let's get some of this stuff done. That's my concern. Adam, you have one thing to say? And
Yeah. I fully agree. As someone that runs a business and understands sales, you have 20 deals in the pipeline. Oh, that deal folded. That didn't come through. Oh, man, what happened with that client? Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, 20 deals, you have 10 deals. 10 didn't close. You're like, we better close these right here. What's going on with Iran, with the nuclear missile deal? I'm going to end the war in Russia before I even it's still going on. Putin's still bombing Ukrainians. Gaza, we're going to get all the hostages back. Nah, they didn't really do that. Inflation, where are we at with that? So, like, I fully understand where Vinny's at. This is what we voted for. I want this. I love that about Vinny. But also we need to have, like, a measured sort of sense of understanding. Like, we can't just be in the back seat with a reckless driver and be like, this is the driver, bro. It's like, well, tell him to fucking pull over. And, like, let's buckle up some seatbelts for a second, guys. So I love Vinny. I love, that's what America is. Like John Wayne over here, like a cowboy. But, like, you know, that horse ain't running.
My question is 3 months to panic right now at 3 months? And I get,
you asked a very good question. Who has more time? Clearly China.
Yeah,
Clearly, Trump, we have got 16 months until the next midterm. What's the thing they said in Afghanistan when we were there for 20 years? It's like, you guys have all the watches. We have all the time. China don't give a shit. They'll starve their people. They'll put people in camps.
They are starving their people.
Yeah. You know? So we unfortunately have what's called empathy and care and approval ratings. And Trump's going to have to answer to somebody. And my biggest fear, if this doesn't work, you're going to start to see his team of rivals be like, I told Trump not to do this. You're fired. It could get ugly if he doesn't start getting some W's.
Yeah, that's why I think we need to know who's not doing the work.
Yep.
Like if one of the 10 executives or two of them are kind of not moving urgently, that story needs to leak to the public. Like, we need to know what's going on, because if you don't, everybody's going to be blaming him. What's going on right now? Who's not executing some of these deals? Again, I don't know the full details of what's going on here. I just think some of them need to close the loop where you have more leverage to negotiate. And a lot of these things are tied to one another. Anyways, we'll see. Okay. So this leads to Trump wanting some good news. And what's the good news he wants? Donald Trump says Fed Chair Jay Powell's termination can't come fast enough. Rob, if you got this clip, play the clip about Jay Powell, and he's been wanting this for a while. This is President Trump. Go for it.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast. Believe me. Yeah, go ahead.
Tom.
Well, as much as I love the guy that I've supported, yeah, if you want him out of there, how many presidents have wanted the Fed chair out?
All of them.
All of them at one moment have been like, what do I do with this guy? You know, I can't executive order the guy. No, you can't. And so, and then Jay Powell calmly says, well, our independence is a matter of law, and I'm not going anywhere. And that's it. And that's the truth about it. And so what Trump wants him to do is to cut interest rates. But inflation has not popped back up. It's like 0.1%, 0.2%. It hasn't gone crazy. Unemployment hasn't gone crazy. We haven't had 100,000 people laid off from GM. So Jay Powell says, look, I move interest rates to help businesses when macro things, when numbers move, not moods. And you've got an angry stock market because it doesn't like sentiment. It doesn't like what it thinks it's feeling from tariffs, but we don't have numbers yet. And so I'm not going to move. And I'm sitting here and I see maybe 1 rate cut, 2 rate cuts this year. That's all I see. And Trump desperately wants Jay Powell to cut interest rates at the upcoming May. He wants a 1/4 point cut at the upcoming May. Why? Because it loosens up credit for companies to invest and to do things. That's what every president wants, is lower interest rates for housing stimulation and for loans for businesses. And Powell is like, he's not a cantankerous guy. He's a hard guy to hate, you know, right? He's like your kind grandfather, Jay Powell. right? You can't hate the guy. He doesn't come out and say things that are bombastic. But what Trump's saying here, Trump could say, I want that guy out and I want to fire him tomorrow. It's not going to happen. The Fed guy has a term. And there's nothing horrible that's happened. Like he didn't screw something up to where you get people in the Federal Reserve to go, Jay, it's been a tough summer and those were bad decisions and you kind of wrecked the bond market and you did all these things. You're gone. That's not happening. And so, unfortunately, I want a quarter point cut. I think in the face of everything with tariffs, quarter point cut would help everything. But Powell's not going to move until he's got unemployment and inflation chasing.
I think he will get rid of Jerome Powell in May of 2026 because that's when Powell's term ends. And that'll be 10 years. So he's been beefing, Trump has been beefing with Jerome Powell since the day he appointed him. Like Trump's the guy that brought him in. He's like, why is this guy here? It's like, you gave him the job, President Trump. How long has he been talking trash about Powell? And Jerome Powell is almost like the flip side of the coin to Trump. He's very measured. He's very soft-spoken, very chill. Does anybody even know what Jerome Powell's voice sounds like? I don't. Do you know? Maybe a little bit. I think that's actually a good thing. They're beefing like Biggie and Tupac. Trump's just like, you're shitty, you suck, whatever. He's like, keep the rates
it's not
the same.
Biggie and Tupac. It's like Tupac and Sade. He's not saying nothing. He's just
What's
saying
your favorite
cherish the day.
Sade song? Cherish the Day.
It would probably be.
Should
What
we
was that
sing right now,
movie
Pat?
with Robert Redford with Demi Moore? What is that? What is that? Indecent Proposal. So I would say Ordinary Love, but that's a technical question.
This is definitely no ordinary love right here.
No. But what I'm saying to you is this guy's not fighting back.
Yeah.
He's just saying this is what's the right thing to do. He's
Can
a
I ask
logical
you?
guy. Yeah.
I've been very complimentary of Jerome Powell. I think we've had a soft landing. Inflation's at what, 2.5%?
Yep.
Rates, he's made some cuts. I actually think he's doing a damn good job, regardless of what Trump says. What would you say about
So let me explain to you how
Powell's
this works.
job?
Here's how it works. So every year for the last God knows how many years, we've had annual conventions. And we do it at MGM Grand Arena.
Sick event.
Great event, 10,000, energies, hype, phenomenal, all this stuff, right? And the moment the event ends, I start already talking to my executives about what is the new announcement we'll be making for next year, Vegas, 12 months later. And all I'm collecting is good news. That's all I'm collecting. I need good news on January 1st when it's our kickoff. I need good news on February 1st when it's our award ceremony that we do on a Zoom. I need good news when we're in Dallas. Right now, Train the Trainers is in Dallas. And I need the best news when I'm in Las Vegas in front of everybody to announce what we're doing. When it gets closer to May, June, July, and I don't have any big, great news, I'm not a happy guy. I've been telling my guys, we need some good news. What's the news? Comp, which is like taxes. Contest trip, recognition. New technology, which is speed, efficiency. But I have to get some kind of news for them. Trump right now is trying to get some good news to tell. We need some positive distraction. It's the key word, period. Trump needs a positive distraction right now to get everybody to say, but did you see the tax cuts? But did you see the interest rates lowered? But did you see this? But did you see the new jobs report? He needs that.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on right now, he's got one thing. He needs some good, positive press. And this guy's not helping. If he gets some good, positive press here, what can he say as a guy that's in real estate? Did you guys notice right now the mortgage rate is 5.85%? Wow, it's 5% for the first time. News, marketing everywhere. So there's a little bit of PR that we need right now with positive news with all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, and he still has 90% plus approval in the Republican Party, in the base. You're good there. He's good. Democrats are always going to hate Trump. They have TDS. We understand what's going on there. The independents in the last 30 days have gone from 50% approval down to like 30. So he's losing independents day by day by day by day. Now, Trump may not care because he's not running for re-election, but J.D. Vance or whoever's next in line might be like, let's get some W's over here. I fully agree. He needs to put some points on the board and win a couple games.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for some good news. Okay. All right, let's go into this next story here with the state of Florida. So, Rob, if you have this clip, the clip specific about law enforcement positions in Florida, let me first read this, and then if you can put this up, that'd be great. So check this out. How many of you here did not live in Florida 5 years ago, but you moved here in the last 5 years? Can you raise your hand? Wow. Okay,
Vinny, raise your hand.
Look at this real quick. Watch this. I ask how many people don't live in Florida. Look at this. Where did you move here from? Scream it on 3. 1, 2, 3. By the way, I want the audience that's watching this, whatever part of the world you're in, we're in Florida, and when I say scream out your name, can you put the camera on them, Deli? Can we get the camera on them, Kelly, if you're over there? So, Jake, if we can do that. Scream out the state you left in the last 5 years to come to the state of Florida. Go ahead. That's a lot of people.
I heard a lot of New York.
Okay?
I heard a lot of New York.
A lot of people that moved here.
Stay in New York, guys.
But watch this. So watch this. But the right people moved here. Watch this, though. Rob, is this the one that breaks down the numbers? Does it say where Florida stands in how they pay their highway patrol versus all the other states?
So I have a full news article, but it's about 4 minutes long. I also have this clip of DeSantis. It's about 10 seconds long where he talks about the raises for law enforcement officers.
Why don't you put that? And as a matter of fact, let me just read this part first and then play the clip with the governor. So Governor DeSantis calls out Florida House budget aimed at cutting law enforcement positions. And by the way, this story was prompted by a guy on Minect that told me you ought to consider this. And I'm telling this story because it's disturbing. So Governor Ron DeSantis criticized the Florida House of Representatives' proposed budget cuts, targeting 84 Florida Highway Patrol positions and ballistic armor for troopers, stating what's going on right now in Tallahassee with Florida House of Representatives is really treacherous. They all ran on this agenda. They never ran against law enforcement. I'll tell you that because you would have been shown the door by the voters. Dave Kerner, Executive Director of Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, highlighted the low pay issue, saying the reality is this budget will keep Florida Highway Patrol as the second lowest starting pay in the country out of 49 states. So imagine all the new people that are moving here, all the business that's moving here. What's priority to us? We left California and New York for what reason? We want to feel safer. We want to be free. We want to be left alone. We want low taxes. We want to raise our kids in a very basic way without confusing the hell out of them. Let me raise my kids. Those are some of the reasons. So now Florida's 49 out of 50 states. That's not acceptable. The governor knows that's not acceptable. He noted the average tenure of Florida highway troopers has dropped from 9.8 years in 2020 to 6.8 years currently. They're leaving this field. They're barely making $50,000 as a new job to become a highway patrol. That's nothing, by the way. $50,000. I'll give you the data here. Rob, play this clip.
Their budget cuts 84 current state trooper positions, which, oh, by the way, I don't think the workload is going down in Florida.
Help.
Was that it, Rob?
That's it.
You really don't like the guy, do you?
He doesn't say much.
He spoke for 58 minutes. You took 13 seconds and cut the guy off.
That's how you want to do our
like
governor,
a personal
Rob.
shot.
That's how you want
Rob's
to do our
not a
guy.
fan.
Your thoughts on this when we're looking at the data here with the pay for highway patrol, and do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, yes, I do. This is the governor we elected, and this is the guy that Floridians wanted. This is the guy that responds to truly the needs of the people, like hurricane response, everything that he's done. This is that guy, and he is in front of the microphone and putting these folks on notice, but more importantly for putting them on notice for the next electoral cycle, because they can't run from this. He's got to get this passed. He's got to get this passed. And the next governor of Florida, which is, we're going to have a war for that, but we got Byron Donalds wants to run. This needs to continue because Florida will slide if services slide with all the people moving in here. Because what will happen is crime statistics are going to go up. We're going to have problems with that. And so we need this. We need this so that it is a noble profession to be in law enforcement, and we need to be able to pay you. And if we're one of the more successful economies with all these people moving here, then we got to get this done so that we can pay people. So it's an honor to serve the people in Florida, and it's an honor to know that they're being paid properly, because this is the guy I voted for.
By the way, you know what Florida's surplus was in 2024? Florida's surplus in 2024 was a $5.7 billion in unobligated general revenue. It represents, they have a surplus in what they made. So what DeSantis is asking for is 20% pay raise for state entry of officers and 25% for veteran officers including firefighters. Senate said 10 or 15%. House is saying 0. That's what he's asking for the state of Florida. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do. Well, so how much do law enforcement officers make in Florida? What's the number?
Rob, do me a favor. Go to ChatGPT and type in, what do Florida Highway Patrol troopers make in this? Yeah, Florida Highway Patrol troopers make a year. Look at the number here.
50,000. That's nothing.
Certified troopers 55 to 65. Okay, it changes depending on what area it is, but it's $50,000. And then when you become trooper first class, corporal, sergeant, then you're 65 to 80. And then if you're a lieutenant or above, 85 to $100,000. But starting salary, $50K.
That's horrible. Rob, what's just average law enforcement? Average, not even highway patrol, just like a regular cop. Because this is Tallahassee, in Florida. Because this is Tallahassee, right, Pat? And
this is Florida.
This is in general.
Yes.
Oh, I'm wondering what that is.
58.
It's not that. That's not that much. And they're fighting for armor and plates and stuff. And look what just happened in Tallahassee a little while ago. And they have budget cuts like that.
It's kind of leading into that. That's
That's
kind of where I'm
not
going with
good.
the story to that.
I don't know what type of person that looks at people making a ton of money out there and they can go into any field they want. They're going to go to work every day, put their life on the line. They don't know if they're making it home at night, and you're going to do this for 50 G's a year? Unbelievable. Like, I have so much more respect for police now than I did after they tried to defund the police. And people are looking around being like, so what does that mean? We're just going to get rid of the cops? Yeah, they fuck the cops. It's like, listen, I liked NWA's song back in the day, but I'm actually not trying to like defund the police. If anything, we need to fund the police. It's always the people who don't have any interaction, or like, it's always like, dare I say it, like white liberal women that's like, get rid of that police. It's like, chick, that's the first dude you're calling when you have an issue. And it's always the people who have the most issues that understand that they need the police for protection. The police have been so disrespected in the last 5 years. And you're talking to somebody that actually never really liked the police, because I would always get pulled over when I did have a car, get speeding, and I was broke, and I was like, how the hell am I going to get my car out?
Guys, let me tell you, Florida's a safer place without Adam driving.
Oh, yeah.
I
do agree with that.
3 years ago, one of his friends lends him the car. You want to tell him what happens 3 hours after a friend lends you the car when he leaves town?
Tell me what happened.
Tell him what happened.
Was it a Mercedes, Adam?
Okay, forget about it.
What happened?
There's a reason why he Ubers. When he Ubers, like as much of a hard time I give him, we're all safer, folks.
Yes.
Like, thank Adam for doing
Uber
that. Such
stock
a
is one of the few
responsible
stocks that's up
decision.
because
I will
of me.
tell
But
you,
we do need to pay our cops
The reason why I'm sharing this story is because the state of Florida, with all the people coming in, it's important for them to feel safer. And if all of a sudden these guys are not getting the jobs, tenure goes from 9.6 to 6.6, 6.8, these guys are going and getting other jobs for only $50K. Give them a raise. What is 20% on $50K? You know what it is?
10
it's
grand.
$60K. That's still nothing to put your life on the line. It's like they're going from $50K to $100,000.
If they're going to make that little of amount, the very least, they need to be respected. Like, you're going to show up to work, make 50 G's, and you're going to get disrespected?
Yeah.
And you're going to get spit on? People are going to say, who the hell wants that? Do you remember the guy that came up to us at the UFC, I think a year ago? The guy from New Jersey? He's like, hey, let me tell you something, guys. I'm a cop.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Proud.
I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm done with this
done.
thing.
Yeah,
NYPD.
because that's what the sentiment of defund the police and everything was happening. But if you think about it too, Pat, people that are joining to be law enforcement. I was a military police in the Air Force. When you do that, you love the job. You want to protect. You want to serve. You want to do that. For 50 grand, I don't know how many more people are going to be signing up to want to risk their life.
Not at a salary like that. Not at a salary like that.
Not up in here.
So this leads me to the next story. Rob, do you have the clip of what happened today? The report I have is that the Florida State University shooting, devastating news, is 2 killed, 6 wounded. That's as of 6:24. I don't know if there's been an update since 6:24, so it's 8:07 right now. Rob, if you want to play this clip, I'm sure many of us are following this story closely. We're in Florida, but Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were over in the loading bay right here next to it and started seeing everybody run. The maintenance guys were telling everybody to get out of the building. So everybody started coming out the back. And I mean, if they would have probably moved 20 feet further, they would have been on this side of the building, which is where he walked out. He came out The shooter? Yeah, he came out this door right here, and then he saw the maintenance guy who was waving everybody, and I guess heard him probably, and turned and shot that way towards like our direction, towards him. There's a golf cart over here with a bullet hole in it.
Yeah, they got a picture of it.
That blocked it. So that was meant for him. And then after that, he turned this way and started shooting out on the green. He didn't shoot many shots when he came outside. It was only like 4 or 5 shots, but he shot like 2 at our direction, and then he shot like 2 this direction, and that's the girl that got shot in the butt over here that was laying down for a while. They stretchered her off. She looked like she was alive, but I'm not sure. I hope that she is. But then he went back inside. I should have probably hid. I pulled out my phone and started videoing everything and came back out. I heard that there was a shotgun that never fired that they saw, so they had me looking in the bushes for a shotgun.
What other clips do you have outside? Is this?
This is footage of the shooter on the campus.
Okay. Well, listen. Warning when you see this. Do you actually have the sound of him shooting here?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's
so
gonna
if you're
run
not comfortable with, it's not, you don't see the person getting shot, but you hear him shooting here.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rob.
What's in you?
What's this one, Rob?
This is students hiding in a classroom as police are going around banging on the doors. The students didn't know whether or not to answer the door, so they hid and opened up their cameras.
Let me see this. Oh, they don't know if it's the police or if it's the guy. Can you imagine that feeling? Like, what do you trust? Who is that standing up there? Is that the teacher? Are you serious? Was he standing like that the entire time? Go back to it, Rob. Like, was he just standing or what?
It looks like he's standing the entire time.
Interesting.
And then I have one final clip of first responders grabbing a student and moving them off.
Go for it. Oh, I saw this one.
Oh my
Carrier.
God.
Oh, is she shot?
Yeah, you can pause it right there, Rob. Vinny, thoughts?
Well, I mean, first of all, prayers and thoughts for the deceased, the people that are injured, and the families. But I mean, this is just, obviously tragedy. And I always take the step back to who this person. Where are you in your mind that you think going on a campus? There's something obviously wrong. This doesn't just happen overnight, and we're not going to know for a while. But the signs. Every time something like this happens, we always find out this guy put out the signs. He was talking reckless. And notice how they're going to automatically try to go. The Republicans are like, well, he hated Trump, and he said he hated Trump. And the other side is like, no, Democrat. He was like, what we need to do is, first of all, let the dust settle. But I want to know where the mentality is of someone that has this. What was his online presence? Was there any warnings? Because every single time this happens, unless it's a manifesto that we don't see for over a year because it's a trans person, which they don't want to make look bad. I want to know, first of all, and then there's reports that the gun, apparently, allegedly, Tom, the reports are saying that his mother, what was his mom, Tom?
She was a trooper or a
Tallahassee police chief.
Yeah. She is
Jessica Ickner.
Is she active? Like she is, that's what she does?
I want to make sure we get this right.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
So media's reporting.
Let me read this to you. Yeah. So you got the suspect identified as 20-year-old Florida State University student Phoenix Eichner is the son of Leon County Sheriff Deputy Jessica Eichner, a veteran with over 18 years of service. Phoenix has been actively involved in law enforcement related activities, including participation in Sheriff's Office Youth Advisory Council and various training programs. This happened at 11:50 today. 2 individuals were killed. 6 others, including Ickner, sustained injuries and were transported to Tallahassee Memorial. And, apparently
that's not good.
The story is that he used, allegedly, her weapon.
Her service weapon, which is either, the gun that she uses to go to work or something that she just has on her own. But if you think about it, first of all, the accountability of him having the access to that gun is horrible, and she is going to be held accountable. What happened earlier, was it last year, Tommy?
Michigan.
In Michigan, the parents of the kid that went on the school shooting, they were put in jail, and rightly so and deserved. But I want to, what happens to a kid? What happens to a kid of that age that breaks that mentality? What is being forced in your freaking mind, unless it's drugs, and I don't know what the hell kind of pills he's on, if he's on any, but to make someone do that, and you saw him just walking nonchalant, stopping, shooting at two people, and keep walking. There's something about a person that makes you do this. I just want to know who knew, what signs did he have, what was he posting and stuff like that to find it. But I think the mother needs to be held accountable. And I mean, she's not in good shape. Her job is pretty much going to be gone, pretty sure.
Tom.
I'm with Vinny. Somewhere along the way, there's a sign that somebody ignored. And you hear later about these things. They suppressed information from the public on the horrible shooting that was in Tennessee at the school. And you later found out about the manifesto, and you later found out about the signs that were there ahead, and nobody did anything about it, or they didn't do enough about it, or they knew about it, but it wasn't, oh, it's really not my place. And now you have this two problems here. If you have a weapon, you have the responsibility to secure it so that only you have access to it. That's it. Simple as that. And then second, what were the signs with this kid? And who ran the red light of not bringing it down to say, okay, we got to talk about this.
How certain are you there was some red signs, red flags?
Well,
how certain are you? Because here's a note of what he wrote in Florida State University's news site. Rob, if you can pull up this picture, is this the one that you have?
No, give me one second.
I just texted it to you. I'll read it to you guys while Rob is pulling it up. And then what I did when I'm reading this, because who knows if this is Photoshop or somebody else posted this, this is him. Once the protesters reached integration, these people are usually pretty entertaining, usually not for good reasons. This is Phoenix Eichner. Look at this here. A political science major said, I think it's a little too late. Trump, already going to be inaugurated on January 20th, and there's not really much you can do unless you outright revolt, and I don't think anyone wants that. I don't know what this means. I don't know how you read this yourself. We don't know where this guy's at. We don't know what happened with the family. We don't know what prompted the guy. There's a lot of stories that stuff like this comes up. You see a pattern like, can a person go from 0 to this? Or is it 0 to 1 to 3 to 4 to 8 to 18 to 48 to 93 to boom? Action.
Yeah, you go back and look at Columbine. And Columbine, what happened? We slowly heard the trickle of news that came out over the long line of Columbine. And then you found out that there were plenty of signs. There was plenty of awareness. And it's just, and to your point, kids don't snap. A person doesn't snap overnight like this. They don't just snap. There's something there. Now, I don't think that one post by the guy is particularly, volatile. But my point is, when we peel back the onion and we finally are given when the public is finally given all the news, as there was with the Tennessee shooter, there are signs and there are things that people saw. And I just go to the first point. It's your responsibility to secure your weapons so you're the only one that has access to them. That's it. That's point one. And then point two, we find out later. We found out with Columbine. We found out, just 12 miles away over here, horror.
I remember having this guy on the podcast a few years ago. His name is Jim Clemente. You've heard me tell this story before. Mm-hmm. This is the first guy that would show up when a husband killed his wife or vice versa. And he would ask them. So he's talking to the killer. He knows you killed your wife. But he's sitting there still asking the questions to see what he can get out of you. And I said, what prompts somebody to do something like this? Here's what he said, 3-step process. He says, genetics loads the gun. Personality and psychology aims the gun. Life experiences pulls the trigger. Let me say it one more time. Genetics loads the gun. Personality and psychology aims the gun. Experiences pulls the trigger. What genetics? Personality is his. Experiences. What kind of a life has this guy lived? to get to a point to do something like this, and you're going to that school?
And your mother. Think about it, your mother is a high-ranking police officer. I'm gonna assume a lot of law enforcement leans, a certain side politically. So I don't know where. And again, this is way too early. But securing your weapon, I don't know how fast was the response time of the law enforcement on the campus. Did we know? Because I know it started at what time, Robbie? 11:50, I believe.
Yeah.
11:50. I'm curious. Was there anybody else armed? I mean, this is Florida. A lot of people are armed. I want to know response time and stuff like that. If it's a gun safe, gun free zone, because a lot of the gun free zones, that's where people are like, oh, listen, if I know it's a gun free zone, I'm gonna bring a gun because nobody's gonna shoot at me.
So law enforcement responded swiftly with approximately 20 officers arriving at the scene within 5 minutes.
That's Florida for you, which I respect, and they neutralize it. And think about it, and then look at the numbers. God rest their souls, but 2 dead. If that was another place, if that was Cali or somewhere else, Tom, you're thinking about that's 20 people dead because nobody has a gun, but by the time they respond, it's over. But this is not good, and I feel really bad for the mom. She's in deep shit. Sorry.
So I went to Florida State. So a lot of people are talking about this, but I'm actually living it because I have a lot of friends who are alumni. I have younger friends who literally still attend there. We went there a year ago. We met with DeSantis. Like, this isn't like a story that I'm just like thinking about. I'm literally texting people I know. Are you okay? What's going on? A girl's like, yeah, no, I'm okay, man. I'm in class. All right, my buddy, one of my best friend's younger brothers. Hey, I'm okay. Thanks, bro. What's going on? What's going on? This is the reality that kids are living in these days. So we talk about the mental health that people are dealing with. Fuck this kid. What about the rest of the 50,000 kids that go to school there? Stoneman Douglas is 20 minutes away here. Imagine those kids now. This is something that we never had to deal with when we were in school. Wondering whether you're going to make it out of class today. It's kind of insane. So totally understand why we want to make sure that our kids are private school or homeschool because the indoctrination in schools. But this is an actual problem. And this is something that we never had to worry about. I was listening to a song yesterday. It's so crazy we're talking about it today. You talked about Columbine, right? Do you ever hear the song that goes, all the other kids with the pumped up kicks, better run, run for your gun. You know what that song's about?
What? Run for your gun?
Kids running away from the bullets in Columbine. So everyone's like, oh, I love this song. Yeah, there was 20 people murdered in 1999. So I feel horrible. The place that was happening, that was in front of the Student Union. I've been there. Doak Campbell Stadium, I've been there. Leach Center, where I used to play basketball and football, been there. Like, this is reality, and it doesn't really register until it actually affects someone in your life. So we make fun of the kid David Hogg because he's like a leftist Democrat. This guy lost dozens of his friends 20 minutes away. Maybe that shapes his worldview a little bit. So this kid. So I feel like, millennials and a little bit older than that, we didn't have to deal with this, Gen X and everything. We talk about the Anxious Generation, the book that you read, that you recommend.
Book. Yeah, awesome
crazy book.
Who's read it?
Okay.
Fantastic.
Oh,
more need
Anxious
to read
Generation.
Incredible
great
book.
If you got a daughter, whatever you do, order that book. Listen to the book. If you got a daughter, must read.
My biggest fear is that this is the story of the day. It's gone. Half these kids are leaving. She's like, no, I'm leaving for Easter. I'm not even there. And then, boom, we have the weekend. And then the next freaking tragedy next week. And what happens? It's I'm an advocate for 2A, but how long are we going to do this in this country?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, how many school shootings? How many are we just, another one, another one. You're referencing Nashville or Tennessee, the manifesto. There's been 10 others since then. So I don't know why this is so common in America, as if it's like, the school shooting, come on, bro, it's Tuesday. Well, we need to do better.
No, but I understand, but I don't think it's a Second Amendment thing. There's so many levels. Like I said, Adam, we don't know if this kid was on any antidepressant
no, it's
drugs.
Definitely a mental health thing.
No, well,
but you're letting crazy people get access to guns.
No. And again, that goes right down, dude. It always comes down to responsibility that Tom said. The mother needs to know, especially as a law enforcement member, your child cannot have access. He's not a gun owner. He's not a registered gun owner. That's not his gun. Zero access. There's so many layers at him, from the mental health to the mother to the gun. But there's something inherently evil with you, period. If you think walking on a campus and doing it, because that's what people think. People tend to forget. Adam, there's evil people out there. We're not living in this beautiful world, and it's not happening as often as it is. Thank God, but that's what it is. There's just evil people.
Everyone thought that I was crazy.
I mean, we still kind of.
Thank you. Everyone thought that I was crazy when there was a shooting in Michigan, I believe, and whether it was a school, I don't even remember. There's so many of these things. The kid went to school, killed whoever, whatever it was, and I go, where the hell are the parents? Can we hold the parents responsible for when kids do stuff like this? They're like, what do you mean? They didn't commit the crime. How is that happening? And then what happened a year later? Parents arrested because they allowed their kids to do this. Like, at what point, when you raise a psychopath, is the parent going to have to be dealing with the responsibility? I don't know what happened with this deputy. I'm not even speculating. Here it is. Michigan school shooter's parents sentenced to 10 years in prison for not stopping a runaway train. That's my point. I don't know what happened in this situation. I don't know if we saw it coming or didn't. But the parents better see stuff like this coming. You know, they say if you see something, say something. Parents are going to be held accountable if you're raising psychopaths.
All right, let's go to the next story, which is another story of a possible psychopath. So DHS deported MS-13 member Kilmar Abrego-Garcia, arrested with rolls of cash and drugs. Rob, do you have a clip on this? Because it says there's a clip on here. Yeah, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
What really matters to Americans is that this MS-13 gang member, who unfortunately, Jay, you and a lot of your colleagues have called a Maryland man, when in reality
I'm going to stop you there. What is your evidence,
member.
Tricia? Wait, I got to stop you there. What's your evidence that he's in MS-13?
Well, there's actually been 2 separate immigration judges, Jay, who have confirmed and ruled that he is a member of MS-13.
Well,
that, as well as we have intelligence,
it was brought up in deportation proceedings.
Jay.
But what's the evidence that was brought up in those deportation proceedings?
And they dismissed his appeal, Jay. I can do this all day, Jay. He is a member of MS-13. I don't think you'd want to be his neighbor, Jay. I sure wouldn't, and I don't think many Americans watching would want to be this individual's neighbor. He's been involved in human trafficking. He's been involved in labor trafficking, and he should not be in this country. So whether he's in an El Salvadorian jail or a U.S. detention facility, I am so very glad, as are millions of Americans, that he is off of U.S. streets. Because remember, Jay, who is MS-13? They maim, they rape. They kill Americans for sport, and the American people are done with it. They said so on November 5th, 2024.
Wow. Good for her. Vinny.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wrote a lot because there's so much about this. And all this, just guys, really, really pay attention. You do not, all of you in here and everybody watching at home, you do not hate the mainstream media as much as you should, okay? Every single one of you guys should add more hate to these people because they're freaking disgusting. And you see his face in that violent, and why do all of them look like that? You ever notice they have that face of just that evil, and I'm being dead serious. So by the way, this guy, Kilmar Garcia, okay? The documents were released that he's confirmed he was an active MS-13 gang member, and he admitted being here illegally, number one. His wife testified that he was repeatedly a wife beater and that she was afraid to be around him. She said, I have multiple, and I quote, photos and videos of how violent he can be with all the bruises he has left me. She also wrote, in November 2020, he hit me with his work boot. In August 2020, he hit me in the eye, leaving my eye purple. Okay? Then, Pat, you have a Democrat U.S. Senator. I don't know if you guys saw this. Chris Van Hollen. This guy flew to El Salvador demanding President Bukele to do the right thing, okay, to release this guy. He said he was illegally abducted. Guys, let that sink in, all right, for a second. A U.S. congressman, all right?
Senator or congressman?
He's a U.S. senator. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah. He's a sitting member of Congress, went to a foreign country and was begging to release an MS-13 gang member. Let that sink into your brain, okay? That's where they've gotten, all right? And this is where the Democratic Party has gotten, all right? They're the party that fights for illegal gang members. They're the party of violence and destruction, all right? They're the party that's okay with abortion until birth. They're the party that ignores victims and protects criminals. And that's why Democrats are at the lowest percentage rate in their history of approval. That's what Democrats are dealing with, all right, now. And guys, you keep hearing this, Tom. They're looking for the face of the Democratic Party, okay? The hell with the face, okay? They need to find the soul, all right? They have lost their soul because that's all. Think about what's happening in America. Look at who they're sticking up for. Luigi Mangione, who I don't care what the Brian Thompson, whatever, okay? He's a bad guy. Let the court and let the law go after him. Murder, like girls like Taylor Lorenz drooling over this guy like, oh, he's so cute and he's so hot. Illegal gang members, Karmelo Anthony, who we're going to get into, stabbing Austin Metcalf. That's who their heroes are, all right? And I think it's ridiculous. And by the way, this is my question, and I'm done. These guys, all the media still to today is help like this guy's a victim. He's a father. A Maryland guy. What happened? Where was that when Rachel Morin was murdered? And did you hear any peep from any of these people when illegals from El Salvador were going around the country raping and murdering American women and children? All right? And you guys know the story about Rachel Morin? Mother of 5. She was jogging. And Tom, I'll let you do it because I lose my mind when I think of what this El Salvadorian illegal did to her. Tom, do that so I can get into what the mom's reaction was.
So the mom was invited to the White House, and this is Holy Week, and I think it's only the grace of God that she was able to hold herself together and to describe what the police evidence was, and she recounted that. And she was tackled or brought to the ground by the bruises on lower extremities, knees, legs, and then her head was struck 20 times with the rock, and then he dragged the body, creating a blood trail of 150 feet into the drainage culvert where he flipped her body over, disrobed her, and committed atrocities, basically on a dead body at that point. And the way that she was able to talk about this is shocking.
By the way, exactly your reaction is what happened.
That's exactly it.
One person reacted on this side. Whatever you thought, that's what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And so you're looking at what level of criminal is capable, not just of a crime, but of that level of a crime. And the MS-13 gang members have been indoctrinated into this culture of extreme dark criminality, extreme. And so now there are individuals in the liberals and Democrats that are looking for their modern day Che. They're looking for Che. Che was not a good guy. All the people in Miami that are liberal that wear the
Che Guevara, yeah.
He was not a good guy. You read
bueno.
about what he did to children, what he facilitated. He's not a good guy. But he's like their freedom fighter and their attractive T-shirt because they don't know history. And what they're talking about right now, they want, and then we're being gaslit. We're being gaslit. Do you remember Trayvon Martin? Remember that? Remember the picture we saw that turned out it was a 14-year-old boy, and the real picture of what he looked like when he was 18, 19, including the teardrop tattoos and everything, something had happened in those 5 years because that 14-year-old boy did not look like that and did not behave like that. That wasn't the guy that was tackled by the police. The guy that was tackled by the police was an older version of him that had gone through just horrible destructive development as a young man. The kid that was there that you would look at, hey, that just looks like a kid wearing a Hollister T-shirt, ended up on a dark path and then in a scuffle and was shot.
Yep.
And so yet the media wanted us to believe that it was this, not that. And this is their Trayvon. They want us to believe, oh, he's a Maryland man, this and this. He's not. And it's documented. And you got the president of El Salvador sitting in the Oval Office and saying, you're asking me to do what? Did we see that yesterday?
Yeah.
You're asking me to do what? I'm not releasing
I'm
him.
going to bring back a note because Trump classified them as domestic terrorists because they are. Because to get into MS-13, what do you think they just go, hey, sign this form? No, they make you kill somebody in MS-13. They not only beat the crap out of you, you have to do that. And Tom, I'm just.
I don't understand. It's like they want another Trayvon. They want another George Floyd. They want something, and I believe there's dark forces that want extreme violence to be fomented with all this, and it really, really, it angers me deeply.
Well, this is interesting that you're saying this, Tom. Rob, I found this article I want to send to you, and if you can pull this up, I'll give you my story while you're pulling this up. You asked a question earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say? You said, why is it that in America, look, I'm a 2A guy, but I don't know, maybe there needs to be something. Why are we doing this? Why is it that it's in America that this is taking place? The one good thing about what we have is data. Okay, Rob, I don't know if you have that article. Look at this here. The rise of school shootings in America, okay? So this is from 93 to 2023. Go up a little bit so we can see. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Look at that number. Who was president during that time? 2020 to 2023. Who was president? What happened then? Okay. If you go and you look at some numbers on prior to that, no, go up there for us to look at the dates, go closer to see some of those incidents. It tells you the different school shootings. Thurston High School shooting, Springfield, Oregon, 4 fatalities, 25 injured. Columbine High School massacre, Little Colorado, 13 fatalities, 24 injured. Virginia Tech massacre, 33. Majority Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, 17-17. Sandy Hook, 27-2. But then look at the spike. From 93 till 2016, you have a 2018, it's around 50 a year. Then it goes up, then it skyrockets, and is above 200 per year. I mean, so what is the byproduct? What patterns do we see here? 1, we could say COVID. 2, we can say the border. 3, we can say fentanyl. 4, we can say divisiveness of Americans hating each other, like, it's a race thing. After Obama, blacks and whites, it's all this other stuff. Like, that's the enemy, right? He is the next Hitler. He's a Hitler.
Yeah,
he's a Hitler. Well, if he's Hitler, let me go be a hero. Division, hate, anger. Mainstream media trust goes down. Trust in the government goes down. Democratic Party trust goes down. And by the way, do you know there's a data that I talked to, what is the guy's name? I forget his name. I had him on the podcast. We had a very heated debate. What is the guy's name? The moment I tell you the stat, you know who I'm talking about. Do you know out of the top 25 cities in America, 27 cities in America, crime, the top 27 cities in America in crime, do you know 23 out of 27 are ran by a Democratic mayor? So you're saying 2A? What do you think gun laws in Chicago? What do you think gun laws in some of these other places?
Was that Beetlejuice?
What about the medicine? 27 out of 30. Crime-ridden cities run by Democrats. FYI. Watch this. D.C. Do you guys know the story of D.C.? Do you know when the first time was that D.C. had a mayor? And D.C. is one of the top cities in crime. Rob, what's the first time D.C. had a mayor?
Marion Barry was smoking crack?
What year was the first year D.C. had a mayor? No? Go lower. Go the first time D.C. had a mayor. Starts like in 1974. Go a little lower, Rob. 1974. Keep going.
Really?
You'll see it. Keep going. Mayor. Are you on mayor or is this like governor? Not governor, Rob. Mayor. Mayor of D.C., Washington history. Since 1974 till today, okay, this is it. It should show each mayor all the way at the bottom, Rob. All the way at the bottom. Doesn't have it? Okay. There's a list from 74 till today. Do you know how many Republican mayors D.C.'s ever had? Zero. So tell me, if your policies are so good, why is there so much crime in the cities you guys run? Do you know what D.C. is known for? The biggest disparity in wealth. They have the most people making over $200,000, and they have the most people making less than $20,000 a year. Who caused that? Your damn policies. So no wonder people are sick of it. Yeah, right there, 1974. Okay, go lower. Okay, this is the one, right? Look, Democratic. 75 to 79, Democratic. Walter Washington. Marion Barry, Democratic. Yep. Sharon Pratt Kelly, Democratic. Marion Barry back at it again,
Marion
Democratic.
Barry after he got out of jail.
That's right. Anthony A. Williams, crack. Democratic. Adrian Fenty, Democratic. Vincent Gray. The same policies over and over and over again. And this leads to what happened with Karmelo Anthony.
Yep.
Okay? Who's following the Karmelo Anthony story?
With a K.
With the K, yeah. Karmelo Anthony with a K, true. So Karmelo Anthony, his so-called lawyer is standing here. The father shows up. The father of the murdered son.
Austin Metcalf.
Austin Metcalf shows up. Here's what he had to say here. Watch this. Go for it, Rob.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who was not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case.
Can I tell you guys? Do you guys know who that is? Anybody know who that is? That's Dominique Alexander, Mr. Self-proclaimed civil rights activist. He has a criminal history, okay? He's sticking up for Karmelo Anthony, which includes a 2011 conviction for causing serious bodily harm, injury to a child, brain damage, okay? Think about the resulting in probation, which he later violated, leading to a brief incarceration in 2016. Additionally, he has faced charges related to theft and domestic violence, and now he's parading around as some civil rights leader, acting as a mouthpiece for Anthony's family. Just giving you guys a heads up on who is speaking for a kid who brought a knife on school grounds to a track meet. That, to me, and let's just be honest, if you bring a knife, Pat, to an event and you're a high school kid, you're looking for trouble. I don't care what happens, because at the end of the day, that should have been, he was in the wrong tent. Austin Metcalf was like, hey, I don't know the moment, but first of all, if you don't bring a knife, that confrontation is verbal, or you guys beat the hell out of each other. That's it. You brought a knife, you stabbed him in his heart, he died in his twin brother's arms, and now you have Captain bodily harm to children up here talking as if he's freaking Jesse Jackson and it's a movement, all right? It's horseshit, and you named it, Tom. What'd you say this was 2.0?
Just Trayvon 2.0.
This is it. No, you said this is a BLM 2.0.
BLM 2.0, but Trayvon, they're looking for Trayvon. They're looking for their George Floyd. They're looking for their poster child.
Yeah.
We are the victim.
Yeah.
It's not what happened. We are the victim.
If the role, be honest with me, Pat, if the roles were reversed, okay, ask yourself the truth. If this was a white kid who stood up and stabbed the black kid in the heart and killed him and he died in his brother's arms, what happens? Honestly, ask yourself, what happens that day in the United States of America? Especially when they start a freaking what do they do? So ready for this? They started a GoFundMe and it shut down, okay, because they shut it down. His family moved to Give Send Go, raked in $400,000. Now they're living in a $900,000 home. Apparently, allegedly, they're renting, and they have a new car, and they're selling merch. They're selling merch. You understand what's happening right now? They're selling merch. The people are selling merch to raise money. It's ridiculous and it's disgusting. And if it was the other way around, there would have been a freaking race war in this country. Okay, let's just be honest with each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. This says GoFundMe raised $450,000 for Karmelo Anthony and $350,000 for Austin Metcalf. That's what they raised so far. So the one who killed raised more than the one who got killed.
Yeah. Why are you raising money for the person who killed? Like, what the hell are we talking about? There's a family mourning. There's a father, there's a mother, there's a brother. Dude, he was gushing blood in his brother's face while he's sitting there dying in his arms, and his father shows up and sees that scene. And what the hell are you raising money for? And that's where the BLM 2.0, what happened with BLM? Everybody that posted the black square and was all tough, everybody got duped. How much money did she steal? How much money did the girl that was in charge of BLM give to everybody, bought houses, bought cars, hired brother security and shit? Got duped. And I hope if you posted a black square, I hope you've taken that shit down, because it was all race, it was all divisive. And who do you think was behind it, Pat? I had to do, if you don't mind, I did a little research. I had to do research because this guy over here has taught me. Vinny, go backwards. Why, and who? Who's behind all this negative shit?
Go upstream.
Go upstream. And the one name I keep getting, Pat, is George Soros. This name keeps coming up, and he's never been dealt with, okay? He's not funding a couple of lawsuits, okay? He dumped billions. So check this out. Open Society Foundation poured $32 billion into Democrat causes. BLM riots, Antifa, Tesla protests, pro-Hamas campus protests, Adam, CRT in schools, attack on voter ID laws, open borders, soft on crime, DAs, Trump impeachment legal teams, and trans agenda in classrooms. And think about this, guys. America welcomes George Soros, right? They love him here. He's kicked out of Russia, Hungary, Pakistan, Turkey, Poland, Philippines. All of them kicked him out because of national security, but we treat him like he's VIP here. Okay, he gets VIP access, and he got $260 million from USAID to help wreck our justice system from the inside. Okay, and now his money is backing Justice Action Center and Human Rights First, who blocked Trump from deporting 500,000 illegal migrants using Obama judge Indira Talwani and all of it's funded and planned to disguise as human rights. This guy is the enemy of the freaking people, and he has to be dealt with accordingly. Period. Somebody has to do it. Who's gonna do it? Pat. And mind you, and who was it one time when I was like what he did to his own Jewish people to try to get out of getting killed during the Holocaust. Remember that, Adam? Like he was ratting out his own people to save his ass. That tells you who this guy is. And until because everything keeps happening, you're like, who's paying for these Tesla guys where they put a camera in their face, the guys that are doing the protesting, and they're like, what are you here for? And some guy was like, listen, they just paid me, and who's paying for it? That's the guy. That's the enemy right there. That's him. He looks way worse right now.
Tom, thoughts?
I think you're exactly right. And I think what we have right now is there is a desire to create this massive division. And when you take a look, there are forces behind the forces. And if you go upstream far enough, you know what they want. They do not want a sovereign United States. A sovereign United States is the shining city on the hill. It is not the experiment that is the United States is working. And they want to destroy it. They want to destroy family. They want to destroy the faith structures that are in the United States. And they want to foment dissent. His own country, Hungary, won't have him back.
Yeah, what does
He's
that
from
say?
Hungary.
Yep.
That was the first one. We don't want this guy. And you know what? I don't think any of the rest of you guys should either. Well, what's left? Where does he go? Well, he'll figure it out. And you take a look the history of how he bet against the UK pound sterling and the monetary system to destabilize it. He is a globalist that believes.
Can I challenge you guys on this?
Yeah.
With something very weird? Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you like Scott Bessent?
The Treasury Secretary?
How do you like him?
Seems to be doing a pretty decent job.
Tom, you like him? Adam, your mic is too slow. You got to do some of your bubbles. But how do you like him?
Well, so far about a 6. I like his tone. I like his style. But I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop because there's a little bit of background there that
You give him a 6? I think you give him more than a 6, Tom, when you and I speak. You sound like you trust the guy, okay? And I think he's pretty solid. I think so far he's done okay. I like his temperament. I like the way he's managing. What job does he have? It's not a small job. Secretary of what? Treasury. Right? State is Rubio, if I'm not mistaken. DHS is Kennedy, right? And then DNI is Tulsi, right? But this is Scott Bessent. You want to know the craziest thing about Scott Bessent? Rob, can you go to his LinkedIn, please? Go to Scott Bessent's LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn and type Scott Bessent. Anybody knows where I'm going with this or no? Raise your hand if you know where I'm. Okay, so stay on this. Some of you, like 8 of you guys know where I'm going with this. So just the funny part about this that, I don't like to be spooked and jump to conclusion with everything. I want to kind of study a little bit more. Is there a LinkedIn or no, Rob? You can't find something? Okay, then maybe go and type in, what did Scott Bessent do on ChatGPT before becoming the Secretary of Treasury? Just type in, what did Scott, let's just look at it together, and then we'll go through it.
And Pat, his job, he took Janet Yellen's spot? This is Janet Yellen?
Secretary of, no,
Treasury.
that's Fed. She was the Fed, right? Treasury was who? Was it Yellen?
Was it Janet Yellen, Tom? Whose job did Bessent take?
She's had both jobs, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
So watch this here.
Yes.
So he was a tenure at Soros Fund Management.
Weird.
But watch this. 1991, Bessent joined Soros Fund Management and rose to become one of the heads of the firm's London office. He played a pivotal role in the firm's 1992 bet against the British pound, an event that led to substantial profits from the Black Wednesday currency crisis. After leaving Soros Fund Management in 2000, he was there for 9 years. He returned 11 years later as the chief investment officer overseeing the firm's global investment strategy until 2015. So let me get this straight. So who works for a company for 11 years, for how many years? Go back up top. Who works for a company for 9 years, leaves, and then comes back to be there for 5 years? Somebody that hates the job or likes the job?
Likes the job.
So why would he come back?
To George Soros?
To George Soros.
I mean, when the money's good, Pat, when you're getting what you want, some people have sold their soul for
Do you
riches.
think that's what it is, Tom?
Excuse me?
Do you think that's what it is? Why does somebody work? Look, guys, you guys know where I stand politically. I'm not one that is very shy about where I lean. But at the same time, I have questions. And sometimes some questions we ask is like, this is part of our values. Debate. This guy works for Soros for 9 years, comes back and becomes the chief investment officer. chief, go back up, Rob. Is it investment officer?
When he went away, the Key Group was funded by Soros. It was $2 billion seed fund.
So where are you going with this?
No, I'm saying his alignment with Soros was pretty consistent.
Do you think till today Scott Besson is probably friends with Soros?
1,000. I would go on 100%.
But do you trust Scott Besson?
When it comes to that type, that's why I'm happy.
Did you know about this?
I had no idea.
Who here did not know about this, by the way?
Okay.
So, but does this change your mind at all? He's doing a pretty good job.
He's doing a pretty good job.
How do you feel about the fact that he's doing a pretty good job so far? How do you feel about the fact that maybe he has been in those meetings and in the rooms and he's got the right phone calls? Why would Trump hire him? You think Trump is good with Soros? What's Trump doing? So where do you go with this? Do you automatically jump to conclusion to going and saying, holy shit, is something going on? Or does credit go to a guy like Trump that says, I want to hire a team of rivals? Like the book that was written about Reagan, not Reagan, Lincoln, many years ago. Yep. So is that what is this Trump's genius? Is this where Trump is saying, well, if we're going to find a way to make this work, maybe I'm going to bring a little bit of this guy because everybody hates that guy. I got one guy on here, OpenAI, Sam Altman, who's got very weird accusations. One the whistleblower, one his sister. Then on this other side, I got Elon Musk. These guys hate each other, absolutely hate each other. They're in the room together. How does that make you feel?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
How would I do this? Because I'm trying to make everything. Okay, so Tom is George Soros.
Yeah.
You're Patrick Bet-David. Yep. You own the company. Okay. I am the guy that worked for him for all those years.
Yep.
And by the way, Tom has talked so much shit about you.
Yep.
I'm talking about that's George Soros hates Donald Trump. Like, he hates you.
Right.
Right, Pat? And now, would you hire him to come work for Valuetainment after everything that he despises you? I'm sorry. Tom's.
I'm with you. I'm following.
You know where I'm
You're
at.
confusing, but I get it. Yeah.
Would you hire?
PBD, that was a very clear question. Just answer.
Yeah.
Vinny, what's your point?
The train left at 9 p.m. Would you feel comfortable hiring a guy that worked for a guy for all the years that despises you and actively has been trying to destroy you for all these years? Because everything leads to him.
So let me ask you this question. Who brought J.D. Vance in? Kelly, who is that for, by the way? You're standing there like you want to give it to somebody. Tom, can you give it to him? It's okay. So who brought J.D. Vance in? Who brought him in?
I think it was
Don Jr.
Trump Jr.
I thought John
Somebody
Jr.
said Trump Jr., right?
Yeah.
But who else likes J.D. Vance? Peter Thiel.
Oh, yeah.
Thiel was also a fan of J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about that. So what does Trump do? What does Trump remember from first term? What happened first term?
You can't trust
a lot of people got fired.
100%.
And by the way, we're about to get to 100 days. So far, who's been fired? The Laura Loomer situation with those 6 people getting fired, right?
Yeah.
Mike Walsh, the Signal Gate, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But this time around, I don't know. I think he's taking a different strategy. Let me tell you, I remember one time a couple of my guys came up to me and they said, so is this the real reason why we do X, Y, Z, and this is what we do? And I'm like, to try to explain to them how much stuff we're doing behind closed doors to get all the dots to connect is so overwhelming for them to know that I'm like, listen, no, we're not doing that, but one day you'll know. Mm-hmm. It took 5 years for them to know what we're doing. I don't know if we're going to know all of it. But just so you know, I'm not 100% supportive. I'm not 100% skeptical thinking this is a Soros connection. All I'm saying is we need to know that this guy worked for Soros for 13 years. And whatever that means, I don't know. Then I can sit there and say team of rivals, or I can sit there and say Soros got a guy in. I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. But to me, Scott seems like a pretty straight up guy so far. But again, remember this whole thing got started with what? We don't know who these executive teams that he's hired are working together or not.
Great point.
It's way too early. We were at the UFC, okay? We're in the room. It's me. Tico's there. It's so funny. Dana White meets Tico. It's the funniest interaction they have together. You okay if I tell the story? So Dana meets Patrick. They shake hands. Dana's like, holy shit, you got some mittens there. What are these things? Tico's got very big hands, and he's 13 years old, size 10 and a half feet. Okay, so he's stacked. Yeah. So he says, So let's talk about fighting. Do you fight? I said, yeah, he did jiu-jitsu for about 2.5 years. He says, why don't you like it? He says, doesn't want to say this. I'll tell you what he told me. He says, Dad, why would I do jiu-jitsu where guys are on top of me? I want to learn how to punch and kick them to get them away from me. And then Dana says, well, at least you know your son's not gay. He's straight. Such a funny story. But we're there. We're in the back. All right? It's us, Brecca, Marco Rubio.
Tulsi.
No, she's not here yet.
Oh, not yet?
Bobby Kennedy on this side. I think that's it, that we're in the back, right? Yeah, it's just us. And then all of a sudden, you see Musk shows up with X. You see Trump showing up. Then you see Tulsi. Then you see Ted Cruz. Then you see, who else was there? Am I missing anybody? No. Oh, Kash Patel.
Kash was there.
They all show up. And you watch all of them together. They're all enjoying each other's company. They're all happy. Can you imagine? They're negotiating hundreds of deals. Think about it for some of you guys that are like, man, life is just so busy, dog. I've had such a rough week. I just want to chill at the house. This guy's like, all right, all these deals that we're doing with people around the world, shit's on fire, market tank. Let's go watch a UFC fight. Like, think about the way this guy's wired. And he's 78 years old. The card ends, I don't know what time the fight.
Wait, we left
2
at
o'clock in the morning, it ends. They barely leave. Gets back, leaves, does his thing, energized, not yawning, fired up. Granddaughter's there, and they're on Air Force One, and he's looking at the media interview and says, here, go, look at this. This is what fake news looks like. Look at all these guys. What do you want to tell fake news? Is there anything you want to tell fake news? And she's like, no, thank you so much for being here. Why? Let me tell the fake news what I think about these guys. The way he is, energized, excited, getting all this stuff done, maybe he thinks he can get all these guys to kind of work together, and he's allowing all of them to fight with each other because he's running 100 companies all together at the same time. And just so you know, what's the biggest company's annual budget per year? What's the biggest company's in America budget per year? Okay, so for example, Apple is worth what? $3 trillion.
$3 trillion.
What's Apple's OpEx per year, Rob? Type in Apple OpEx. Okay, Apple OpEx per year. What does it say? What's it say? $12.5 billion in quarter one, which means what? $50 million a year.
Okay.
Okay? That's the biggest company in America. You guys are ready for this? Kennedy, who runs DHS, you know what his budget is per year? $1.5 trillion.
Holy moly.
That's not one company. Let me tell you what that is. That's $1.5 trillion is 30 Apple budgets. One guy is running 30 Apples. That's what they're doing right now. And they're at a freaking UFC fight.
Till 3 o'clock in the morning.
To tell you the way these guys are running and gunning and doing what they're doing. So I don't know what's going on. He's managing all these personalities, and stuff's got to get done, though. They're getting close to stuff getting done.
Yeah.
Things got to close. Things got to close.
Was
we'll see.
Was Scott Besson at UFC?
No.
Scott Besson wasn't at UFC.
Good. Get your ass to work, buddy. Inflation.
Yeah, Scott.
Okay. The economy, tariffs. You don't go. No UFC for you, Scott.
All right. Let's do one last story here before we wrap up. I want to do a fun story. Oh,
Blue.
You guys okay if we do an emotional story, like a sentimental type of story? Do we have any ladies in the house or no? Ladies, make some noise. Gotta love it. They did this for you, what I'm about to read. You were their inspiration. They wanted to inspire you. It's very important for us to give proper respect to these ladies. Where are they at? Right there. Gayle King, disappointed by the backlash to Blue Origin flight, accuses critics of sexism. And New York Post, can you go to the New York Post story cover? What a phenomenal title. Whoever came up with this title, give this guy a freaking raise. Send him to the spa. I just show the link, Rob. Just go to the link. Tell me how this is not awesome. Astronaut. Okay, look at this. Rob is going to figure this out. Astronaut. Conspiracy theories swirl about Katy Perry's faked Blue Origin space mission. All right. So before we just show the legendary landing real quick, Rob. This is such a beautiful moment. This may be greater than us landing. Look at this. Look at the way it lands to the ground. None of them break their backs. Look at this. Watch for it. Wow.
Southwest Airlines lands just like this.
The freaking music is awesome. Right? Gladiator type.
Oh, Maximus.
Boom. Look at that.
My back would have been shattered.
You see it? How sick is that, right?
Oh.
Just like motivating. However, there's been some critics saying some stuff in it.
Really?
Rob, I don't know if you have any of the critic stuff or not. Do you have any of the stuff on how they open the door first and then they have to reopen the door and they have to say, go back in there, and then Jeff Bezos falls. Poor guy's tripping. He's having a hard time. Look at this here. Which one is this, Rob? Tell us.
This is the door being open from the inside.
So can you tell everybody here why they changed to make sure the door doesn't open to the inside before you go ahead, Tom. Give us the breakdown.
Pressure. You've seen all pictures. What happens when an airplane loses a window at like 30,000 feet, right? It's madness, right? All the stuff, you can get sucked right out of there, just like a guy Pat's size will go right out the window like going through a meat grinder. And so when this thing goes all the way up and comes back, there's this process they have to do to open the door and to allow the pressure to equalize outside to inside. And so it's not just like you just open it, because the pressure inside is actually lower. So you open that door, that thing would flip open, and you'd have your bell rung. It would like blow you.
Open it up, Rob. Watch this.
What's going to come out of?
They're not supposed to open the door yet.
Her
Look, they're like, close the door.
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see. That is
I have to
correct.
pee.
That is Jeff Bezos, our founder.
He has to step up with the official doohickey thing.
Rob, what else you got? Because there's a bunch of them.
I have Gayle King claiming that it was sexist. The way
Go
the
ahead
media
and play
covered
this
it.
clip. Go ahead, Rob.
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin does.
They went on a
space
mission.
technology
Mission.
We went on a mission. Can you put Katy Perry kissing?
Oh.
Listen, like the love for Earth, Mother Earth. Rob, just show the kiss, Katy Perry, man. I mean, that's the part.
There's the rocket.
If you don't have that, Rob, that's the part that really got me the most. You have it. Adam, your thoughts, because I know this excited you a little bit.
Okay, I swear on my life, I've heard nothing about this story. I'm not following this at all.
What?
Like
hell have you
literally nothing. Katy Perry hasn't had a hit song in 10 years.
Adam, they were freaking astronauts.
All right, then don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Sit this one out.
But hold on.
Astronaut.
The first thing I did see was you tweet, like, I don't even think this happened. Like,
who tweeted?
You tweeted something. Maybe it was a fake PBD. Holy
Oh,
shit.
no, it was
got
the
me?
wrong PBD.
That's
guy.
not me.
Okay.
I tweeted? I never tweeted
Don't
this
you?
didn't happen.
Is there a fake PBD account?
There's an account called
He got me.
PBD.
He got me.
Did he really tweet this?
And he said, did anybody see that? Okay. Help me out here, buddy. I'm drowning. Speak loudly. What did the tweet say? Good job, buddy. All it said was, I'm the only person that's skeptical of this thing even happened. And I was like, what? What's this? Katy Perry's a space astronaut now?
Okay.
What do you think actually happened? Is
Enjoy.
what I'm asking.
Let me just see Katy Perry
Let him
kissing
see
the ground.
Let him.
Go ahead, Rob. Oh my God! Listen, this is a moment. Look at this
She has a
moment.
flower.
Look at this moment. Look at this. Katie. Wow. So awesome. So Vinny, what thoughts do you have about this one?
I
Here?
mean,
Go ahead. Vinny.
that almost got me emotional. But first of all, did you guys know how much it costs? Like the reports say how much passengers pay for these flights. This isn't free. You know that, right? Does anybody know the range of prices? All right, so passengers have paid anywhere from $200,000 to $1 million, depending on the flight. and who's on board. This one was probably up there.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm in. I love roller coaster rides. The first seat ever auctioned. You know how much the first seat was auctioned for ever when they went? $28 million to do that. And by the way, this whole crazy ride, it wasn't 11 minutes. It was 10 minutes and 21 seconds.
Oh,
all right.
thank you for clarifying. Yeah,
and it wasn't space travel. Okay, check this out, guys. They technically crossed the Kármán line, which is 62 miles, but they hit it for a moment and at apogee, but with no orbital insertion. Okay, which the rocket looked pretty
Sounds
weird.
hot.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Sounds real
There's
hot.
kids
Vinny.
here. All right.
Orbital insertion.
Then it immediately dropped
Google
back to
that
Earth.
one?
So the weightlessness, if you guys see, the weightlessness that they experienced was just free fall. Like the top of a roller coaster, you know, that the top that you hit, that's what they experienced, okay? Real astronauts on the ISS experience, they hit a microgravity. They didn't, okay? And what pissed me off about what Gail, you know what Gail King said? She said this was going to inspire women to be astronauts.
Is that?
No, yeah.
Is that Lauren Sanchez on the left?
Yeah, that's Lauren Sanchez.
Oh, that's Jeff Bezos' fiance?
Yeah. Where the hell?
Oh,
Adam, hi.
It all
It's
makes sense
2025.
now.
Where the hell have you
He's just
been?
funding his girlfriend's lifestyle. I get
Yeah.
it now. Done. Look, makes sense.
But this is what pissed me off about Gail King. She said, this is going to inspire women to be astronauts. Why would you want to do that? So they could go into space and be stranded for 9 months like Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore? Remember that? Guys, think about this. We just had 2 astronauts, real astronauts, not these fantastic cosmonauts. We had freaking 2 people stranded for 9 months that Biden wasn't going to get because Elon wanted to help. They left their asses up there to die. This is getting way more news than that.
Should have changed the name NASA to Nada.
Nada.
Are we coming back on a flight? Nada.
Yeah. And Tom, what was your analogy with all this?
Oh, with all this, how many people think this really happened? How many people think it's like CGI fake all the way?
I don't believe all of it.
I think it's a fake capsule with fake people, celebrities, fake boobs, fake lips, fake landing after a fake launch in a rocket that looks like a schlong. You know, it's like.
By the way, Tom, congratulations. Guys, no footage of the inside when they launched.
getting
Wouldn't you?
late.
Yeah, Pat, wouldn't you want?
Tom wants a cigar. He
no,
wants a drink.
Yeah, he does. No helmets, right? No helmets. The landing, even though it was big on impact, actually, guys, you saw that nitrogen explosion. That's normal to soften the landing. You're still gonna be hitting hard. No helmets, and yeah, there's no footage of the inside. There's actually one, Rob. Look at that, guys. My back would have shattered. My sciatic nerve. Mom, you know what's up. But Rob, can you find? By the way, there's one photo. There's one photo of a hand, and it's a black female's hand. Tell me it doesn't look like it's a mannequin hand. Can you find that, Rob? Could you find that photo? Just put mannequin hand. It looks so fake inside. Let me see if Rob can find it. Look at that. Zoom in on that. That's a plastic fake hand. What is that? That looks like a freaking, right? Tico, looks like a mannequin. What? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, guys. Hold on. If you're going to do this mission and celebrate in a flower in mid-flight, where's the launch? Don't you want to be in there? Where's that footage? That's what I want to see.
Why don't you issue a challenge to Jeff Bezos and put your money where your mouth is, send me to space.
We're not
see if he'll do it to you.
We're
see
not
if
on talking terms right now.
What is this, Rob?
Oh, but this was the thing that allegedly PBD posted.
Stop it.
That's
you think I would post
Can
something like
somebody
that?
pull that up?
He wouldn't do that, but look at that
Whoever
patch.
runs a not PBD account. What does he say?
Patrick,
okay, it was the parody account. They got me.
Way too often.
They got me.
Freaking Adam.
What is this, Rob?
This is the fake PBD account that I fell for.
Yeah, because you know what? You don't
'Cause I
pay
thought it
attention
was a
to
parody.
launches. You don't know what the hell.
What is it? What is this? Show me. What
So this is a patch on their shirt, on her
Satan, bro.
on her
That
launch
says what?
suit.
That says this is like the Satan backwards or whatever.
Well, read the caption if you don't mind.
This is happening
Rob,
way too often.
this is happening way too often to be
Very
a coincidence. And it's.
Listen, not PBD is better at tweeting than PBD.
That got Adam.
I just realized I'm not even following you. I'm
Freaking
following
got
fake
Adam.
PBD. And I'm going
That
around.
is so
you see
funny.
what my boss said? That's my guy.
That is
Yeah, it was all
so
Satan. What?
funny.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let's go to space, dude.
That's the last story. If they did or if they did not, funny as hell. I'm not sure it's going to inspire anybody to be an astronaut with that story. Gang, for everybody out there that you're with us still, today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy it with your family. Enjoy the weekend. And to everybody that's here, VIPs. We're about to go to the cigar lounge, have a drink, have a cigar, have some good conversations. Everybody else.
Tomorrow's Good Friday.
I'm
Easter
sorry.
Sunday.
I am so
I
sorry.
gotta correct you.
You know why I said Easter? You know why I said Easter?
Huh.
Why do you think I said Easter?
Because you're thinking of Pesach
No,
or something
because
like that?
because Jennifer's, we're looking at schedule and calendar with the kids of what 2-3 events we're going to.
Yeah.
We have the Derby going on. We have SLS going on. We have Easter going on. We have all this stuff going on. But tomorrow's Good Friday. Enjoy the day with your families. But we're going to go out there in the back right now with the Cigar Lounge. All the premium and the generals, thanks for coming out. Have a good night, everybody. Everybody out there. We will be doing many more of these. And this next time when we announce to the public, we'll give you more than 2-day warning. Next time we'll announce it 4 weeks in advance when we do this. Reason for it, somebody was supposed to be here with us tonight. It'll be announced here soon. It'll be the next one that we'll be doing here together. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.